sophomore, a big threat, and looking to lead this Hall team to a home win.
Yeah, she has 60 points on the season, so look to her to be the one to go for Hall to get this victory as well.
Time and temperature is, we get things started 5 after 4 o'clock, so it's 5 minutes on, a little bit of delay, but 60 degrees with, it says light rain according to weather.com. I don't know if that's correct, but it is falling on down here. We got a wind coming out of the south at 12 miles an hour. Simsbury going to be in the navy blue tops with a little bit of white trim, and Hall in the white tops with the royal blue bottoms, as they'll protect the north goal here in the first half. As we are underway right here on CPTV Sports. And right out of the gate, Tess McKay, as we got a couple seconds into this game, it'll be 25-minute halves. And these two teams, they had the 2 losses, but Hall holding on to a 7-2 record, Simsbury at 6-2. And this is a big matchup. There's just one team standing in between these two teams in the standings.
Yeah, you know, it's a big game for both teams going forward to the state tournament at the end of the month. A lot of momentum can take from this game.
Ball down on the ground and a whistle and going the other way. And a couple balls being tossed around. It's got to be difficult because the girls just wear the goggles and with the rain falling on down, trying to battle through that, trying to see the ball coming your way. And there's a shot being taken by Tess McKay, and a nice save for Hall by Madison Hooper, the sophomore goalkeeper, wearing 00.
It's interesting to see that we saw in pregame, as you saw in the opener, that she was wearing 21. Tess McKay was, you know, a little bit of a way to change things up to get the coaches, a little decoy to get the coaches thinking it's somebody else. But you know, that's a little ploy that you see sometimes. Some coaches don't put stats on websites or stuff when we're looking for them. So you know, trying to get that little momentum, the little edge, you know, play head games to go on as a season.
You see that a lot in volleyball, where they're very secretive of their lineup, as Hall moving the ball around the perimeter, as they almost had a breakaway with Hannah Cho. But this is going to be more of a quality possession instead of quantity for the head coach and Stephen Boyle. That's exactly what he said, especially with the rain falling on down here. This is a Simsbury team that likes to be out on the fast break, so to say. And he said we'd like to slow things down, and we don't want to get in a track meet with them because obviously the Trojans can definitely run and outscore them. And you know, talking to the head coach and Kim Rabbit in her 3rd season, she said this is going to be a game that she thinks is going to be either won or lost in the middle of the field.
Yeah, you know, it's playing in the rain. It's going to be a lot more ground balls. You know, there's going to be some drops of rain in players' eyes, so it may change the way that they normally play. So you've got to think that it's going to be a much slower game, like you said. You know, it's going to be more quality chances than quantity, and trying to go, you know, bounce shots, because the ball's going to skip off the ground a little bit differently than it normally does without the rain. So it's going to be a quick game in the midfield sense, but when you get to the offensive side, it's going to be a slower game looking for that good opportunity.
And here's Haley Mullins, junior midi, controlling the ball right about the 25-yard line, about 27 yards away from in front of the goal. Here for Gracie McCann, the goalkeeper for Simsbury. About 4 minutes have passed on by, no score. Here in West Hartford, the rain falling on down. A couple of the fans have brought their large umbrellas on out to watch the girls play. And I remember back to my high school days, always playing in rain or any sort of precipitation was fun. And the games were sloppy, but whether you won or lost, it always seems like you have a story to reflect back on.
I mean, I remember when I was playing football, and I was a long snapper for our football team, and we were at Huntington team on Long Island, and it was just a mud bowl. It was mud everywhere. Couldn't control the ball, you know, when you're trying to snap it. But, you know, the games that you always remember from high school are the rainy or snowy games that you play in.
Here's Boyle controlling, trying to make a move, and Hall just moving the ball around the perimeter, not really attacking. They tried to make a move on the near side. Now they'll swing it out on the far end to Mullins. And I guess they're waiting for a mistake. Here is Boyle making a move inside. She gets pushed back on out. Good defensive presence by Simsbury as 5 minutes have gone by. And still no score. And it was just a slight drizzle when we had got here about a couple hours prior to game time, and then it started to pick on up when we were talking to the coaches on the field, and then all of a sudden we're about 2 minutes away from game start, and the skies opened on up.
You know, coming on up here, you know, from outside of New Haven, a couple little droplets, but the sun was trying to come out. But you know, as the storm rolled in from the west, lot more rain was coming down, but we were down there trying to get through the coaches, and our notes were getting a little sloppy, and you could see the coaches were trying to get us back up in the box, but I got a little bit of a bald head, so the rain droplets coming on my head hurt sometimes. So I was happy to get back here and protect it from the elements.
Boyle still controlling her in a raw now, having a catch on the near side, and really no movement here is very unlike the guys game where it's action-packed, constant moving around, and by this time, 6 minutes in, you'd have a couple shots on goal, if not a couple goals in this game, as now Hall trying to make some moves, get the pass inside, and a shot taken and a goal scored on a feed from Boyle inside to Saunders. All on the scoreboard, 1-0 here right out of the gate.
I mean, you just had to mention.
Saunders wound up just coming back door, and a nice pass from Boyle over the top.
Yep, she came from around the crease all the way to the right legs and put it right up under the bar.
It'll be Hall controlling as the ball loose down on the ground, trying to be picked up by McKay from Simsbury and stolen away by Saunders. She'll keep herself in, and the ball stolen away here by McKay. She's trapped right in front of her bench and tries to pass. And similar to, it's just the stick, the ball, and an eye shield, and that's it. You can't really call it a mask by anything because it just covers the eyes, and that's it compared to the guys where they have helmets, shoulder pads, elbow pads, hand pads. And there's a shot right there going from coast to coast by Rachel. All the early 2-0 advantage here atop of Simsbury, and she just
on those types of plays because she had a free 25 yards just to run.
And inside the circle, the big H on this beautiful turf field here in West Hartford. Hall as Boyle controlling, making her way on inside, and she'll stutter step, now come on the near side. She'll get away from a couple Trojan defenders and also set up the offense. The very slow-moving offense here for Hall as they'll try to pass the ball inside that 30-yard box. And it all starts right at the 30-yard line, and it's 30 yards from there to the front of the crease and about the 10 to 20 yards from behind the crease back. So they have that entire room to maneuver around. And Hall right now executing the game plan to a T.
Yeah, they're just being patient right now. With the rain, the game's going to be a little bit slower, even though the ball might roll faster, but the actual possession of the game is going to be slower. And you don't see a lot of play behind the net. This is the first time they've gone behind the net for a scoring opportunity. But the rest of the play is out between the 10 and 20 yard line, and they try and make that one-on-one move to the net.
Here's Mullins. They try to look for Boyle slashing towards the front of the cage. Ball slipped on out and collected by Mullins. And as we mentioned before, this is a matchup of two teams that are separated by one team in the middle of them here in the standings. And if you take a look at the standings, Staples is right below Hall, and then there's Simsbury, and sitting atop of the standings, Greenwich, Cheshire, and Newtown. As we got about 16-20 to go here in the first half as Hall just controlling and moving the ball around the perimeter. And Ilana Boyle, the sophomore, will move around. This is also the daughter of the head coach, Stephen Boyle. As she must have been playing this sport for a long time, so by the time she got here into high school, she was already an expert.
Playing from when you're so young, able to pick up a stick and run around with it. Some of these kids grow up playing a sport that their parents may have played.
Saunders makes a move and winds up beating McCann over the right shoulder and the top of this lead. Stopping the clock with 15:44 to go.
We've seen Hall just be
the next draw, and Simsbury looking to win this one, but flying and leaping on in is Haley Mullins, and she'll snag it out of the sky and get Hall on the offensive attack yet again. And she's that quick first step out of these four draws that we've had in this game thus far. As the pass comes inside to Megan Tracy, as she'll get it back on out to Arnow. And Arnow will kind of just be the quarterback of this as she'll come to a standstill right about the 23-yard line and take a look around and see what the defense is going to give her for Simsbury.
You see both teams. Both teams are just standing around looking at each other, trying to wait for who makes that first move. So a little bit of a cat and mouse type game. You just see a little bit of a rotation here and overlap, trying to change where the ball is, and you see Simsbury rotating, their man on defense.
So more of a chess match than anything. And speaking about chess, some research shows that Hall has a chess team that is very good. They actually won the 2011 state championship just a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, I could say I played chess, but that's just on the computer on Windows. But other than that, I mean, that's really impressive because chess is very complicated, and you got to think 3 or 4 steps ahead of what you're actually playing.
And right here, it's more about time of possession. And Stephen Boyle even mentioned it, and I've been saying that for a while, covering lacrosse the past couple of years, that they should do it like they do it in football, time of possession, maybe as a halftime statistic. And if you control the ball a little bit more, it's all about, then you're going into quantity and quality in that sort of time frame, where Simsbury, and we've seen this too many times, if they can get a turnover here, you can quickly score a goal.
We've seen in lacrosse many times, that's all it takes is one possession, one shot, one goal. You go down on a fast break, but they're kind of standing around right now. I don't know if this is the way that either team plays their game, if it's the weather affecting them, but 3-0 lead right now, you're kind of killing the clock. I mean, I know it's early, but that's kind of like the offense they're running right now.
So Boyle, here controlling, and we'll swing it back on over, and she'll get it on over to Mullins, and they're just having a catch on the near side, and the Simsbury coaches yelling from the sideline, and Hall just making some moves, and you take a look at the third-year head coach in Kim Rabbit, as you can see her right on the right-hand side, and this might be her assistant off to her left, just calling out instructions here, and she had a lot of good information about her team, and even when we were starting to talk to her, the rain wasn't even heavy at that time, and then we worked our way on over to Boyle, and the rain picked on up, and then by the time we got up to the press box, the rain started really falling on down here, and it's continuing to fall. But still that warm temperatures here as we're about 12:50 remaining here in the first. Boyle going to make a move inside, a couple zigzags. She'll take a shot and she'll miss wide of McCann, and Hall will still hold on to the pitch.
Trying to lull Simsbury into a little bit of a sleep and attack right through the middle.
Here's Megan Tracy, number 11, trying to elude a couple defenders. Going to pass it over on the near side. She'll get it over the top. She'll get it back on over to Arnow. 2 goals in this game as Hall leads it 3-0. And now they'll get it back out on the far side to Mullins, and they'll wind up slowing things down yet again. Now Simsbury is going to come back on out and try to contest. As Mullins tries to make a couple stutter steps, she'll make a move, get past her defender, and backpedal back on out. And it seems like when they have the ball back on out, as Mullins streaks towards the cage, and she'll take a shot, and it looked like there was going to be a penalty on it, but the referee winds up putting it back. 11:56 to go on a goal scored by Haley Mullins.
They've had 4
free up right in front of McCann, and then it was Mullins just trying to slice towards the basket like you would in basketball. And for the first, just the second time in this game, here comes Simsbury on the attack as they'll make the move on in, and a nice feed from the far side to the near side to find Tess McKay and jump on the field and score a goal. And Simsbury gets on the scoreboard the game of lacrosse. Here's another draw, and it comes back into the hands and controlled by Hall as Boyle will make her way towards the south goal. 11:30 and running here in the first half as 4-1 lead here for Hall. And Simsbury able to win that last draw, come on down, took about 10 or 12 seconds off the clock, and they get themselves on the scoreboard, get a little confidence on their end. Now the defense really needs to step it back on up because they realize that if you can get the ball into the hands of the offense, it doesn't take too long for them to put it to the back of the net.
But we've seen, in the 2 possessions that Simsbury had compared to Hall's multiple possessions, Simsbury likes to attack the net quick, where Hall just likes to stand around and move the ball. There's going to be a completely different game with who has possession of the ball. So you need to, kind of stay in both modes. As a goaltender, you're going to stand around a little bit and not see many shots. But sometimes you need to be ready for when they do come down on that quick, get your adrenaline rush.
And you can see right now that Simsbury's starting to spread their defense out a little bit more. And now this is more of a man-to-man defense, because if your defender gets by you, as Boyle will wind up making a move, she'll draw a couple of defenders, ball loose down to the ground, and scooped on up by Simsbury as they'll quickly move from right to left. Arcero, who had the assist to McKay, will get the ball inside the middle, and lost on the handle by Giuliano, and scoop back on up by Simsbury. Let's see if they're going to keep this. Maybe the slippery conditions affecting those passes. The pass will come over the top, and Mullins stride for stride and working her way towards the front of the cage. She'll try to zigzag. A pass comes inside the middle, and a shot and a save made by McCann out of the stick of Hannah Cho. And McCann makes a big point-blank save right there, and Simsbury quickly moving on back.
Yeah, great save made right there. You see Cho just come right up to the middle. It's the first position we've seen where they've just attacked off of the rush.
Here's Dietz making her way inside. She'll take a shot and she'll rip one past the goalkeeper. And right off the clock with 9:29 to go as Hull holds on to a 4-2 lead.
McCann, and it goes all the way down on the field with them. I actually had one, but just forgot it in my bag. But, you know, you play through the elements. It's a complete...
9:24 to go. Here's the draw inside the H, and it looks like Hall's going to come away with it. And a pass comes on the near side. Mullins will scoop it up off the turf. She'll work her way inside, and she doesn't see enough white jerseys, so she'll backpedal. Ball loose down on the ground, almost stolen away. Attacking Mullins. And they'll start the clock. So there are penalties where they're called major penalties, where a card will be handed on out and they're unreleasable, where they'll come off the field similar to the men's game. But if it's just a minor penalty, they have to move 4 meters behind the person that they either hit or whatever they did, and then they'll start the whistle, and you have 4 meters on an advantage.
You just got to be careful, though, that sometimes those major penalties are a slash or contact to the head, and that kind of gets into the discussion a little bit about wearing helmet. Other players may start to attack the arms or the ribs or, stuff like that.
But I think we've been more of a cautious society with the helmets, and I grew up playing football. I've had 3 concussions in my time. As Boyle makes a move inside, she'll backpedal, and good closing defense by the feet on out. She'll make the move, and she'll take a shot, and it goes sailing over top of the crossbar. I suffered 3 concussions playing football, and it's a contact sport. But now we've become more, cognizant of concussions. But talking to both the coaches, they think that adding helmets would just increase more injuries to other body parts, because the girls might think that it's okay to now go near the head, or there's ribs, shoulders, and other things, as we mentioned in the beginning of this, that they don't wear any pads.
Yep, it's definitely a safety issue. It's I guess you're not really like on the fence. I mean, we've seen it historically that there have been a lot of negative effects from concussions.
And she'll make a move on the inside. Closing defense by the Trojans. Here comes...
But on a free possession shot here.
And another whistle. She'll make a move, and she'll get it past McCann. And scoring here for Hall will be 2 with 5:28 to go on the clock.
Well, you see what happens when you go a man...
On the right-hand side. All being batted around as finally, Steve right there, Sydney Shugdanis is... she's still waiting, so man down are Simsbury as they're on the offensive attack here. Not as quick as the last time, as Hall will get to play some defense. Ball being moved around behind the cage by JoJo Hesketh. And she'll get a pass back on the far side to McKay. McKay, spin move back from the far side to the near side. And you could totally tell the difference between these two offenses. A pass comes inside, and finally to the back of the net is Katie Giuliano on a feed, flooring again. And now a 5-3 lead for Hall. And there it is, comes back towards the front of Simsbury and scooped up off the turf by Dietz. Dietz will spin back around, and now she'll come inside the middle. Stride for stride inside the 20-yard line, and now she'll backpedal, try to set up the offense. And it seems that Simsbury, not to say that they're more athletic, but definitely a lot quicker than the Hall defense. As Dietz winds up eluding a couple players. Pass comes inside the middle of Giuliano. She tries to take a shot, goes over the crossbar, but into the basket of McKay as she draws 2 defenders, trying to weave herself in and out. 4 minutes to go here in the first half. A 5-3 lead here for the Warriors. Good spin move by McKay. She'll go down low, and a save made by Hooper.
Well, we see McKay, she's been an integral part of this team thus far this season, and she's having a good hand in a goal and an assist already today.
And Stephen Boyle talking about how Hooper very good coming outside of the crease, got good stick skills, and give them a good shot in between the pipes, but anytime that she needs to come on out, she's just as good as any of the other girls on the attack or the middies.
You just see her right now stalling with the ball, until she gets attacked there by McKay. But now when you commit like that, you give an easy lane for someone to go across that midfield line.
Molodets will start 4 meters ahead, and she'll try to work her way across the midfield. Looking for a couple more white jerseys, can't find anything. Good elusive moves. She'll pass the ball. It's loose down on the ground, now up in the air. And secured out of the sky by Behan. Still loose, and I think these slippery conditions are, making the sticks even more wet. And finally controlled by Simsbury, stolen away, and a good presence by Arnow. And Arnow comes across the 50. She'll get a pass on the near side. She'll find Boyle. Boyle way over the top, trying to find Mullins. She'll make the catch on the far end, cutting off to the right, now inside the middle, and she'll backpedal. And they'll try to set up the offense yet again. So 2:20 and running here in the first half. Rain picking on up speed here in West Hartford. Kevin Sokolsky, Brian Irizarry, entire CPTV sports crew on hand with you. And a 5-3 lead, and according to Kim Ravitz, the third-year head coach for Simsbury, she said this was going to be a 1 or 2 goal ball game.
It started off